What is going on, people of YouTube? My name's Mikoyo and welcome back to a brand new video. Now this video, unlike the rest, that most of them are going to be FPL, this one isn't. Now last year I did a video, I've done it for a few years now, but last year I did a video that got so much hate and so much support. Probably one of my most interacted videos on my channel in history. And obviously that means I'm definitely going to be doing it again, but it was my Premier League predictions video in which I said some pretty controversial things. A lot of them ended up actually coming pretty close to true. This year it's a lot safer. Not safer, but a lot less controversial. There are still a few things that I think might happen. And obviously I'm just going on my gut. A lot of the things I go on stats, I go on what I believe will happen. This is what I'm going on my gut. It's one of the only videos where you go and get a look at the stats, which is just generally what I think, what my gut says is going to happen. And we are going to go from the bottom of the leaderboard all the way up to the top, starting off with the three teams to get relegated, two of which have just come up. And those three teams are Huddersfield in 20th, Brighton in 19th and Watford in 18th. Now, Huddersfield in 20th. I'm a Sheffield Wednesday fan. I believe, well, I am born in, obviously, Essex. Part of me believes and wants to believe I am from Yorkshire. So I want to see those northern teams in the Premier League. But I just don't think Huddersfield have the capacity this season. To be honest, looking at all the teams in the playoffs, I think whoever would have gone up, including Sheffield Wednesday, would have gone straight back down. Huddersfield, I feel that'll be a Blackpool type story. They'll be the fan favourites. Everyone will want them to do well. They might start off doing well, get a few niche results here or there, but at the end of the day, I don't think they've got what it takes to stay in the Premier League. Brighton in 19th made a few good signings, but again, I don't think they've got what it takes to stay in the Premier League. Different reasons to Huddersfield. I think Huddersfield just generally don't have the team I think Brighton might do, but I feel like their tactic was based solely around controlling the Championship. That could become, get them in a bit of worry in the new season. And Watford in 18th, simply because they've been slipping lower and lower these last couple of seasons. I think now they're going to go down. Home form will be tremendous. Rumour is they're going to start Andre Gray, but he's a forward that's misfired. £18.5 million. He's a forward that hasn't really been in goals constantly. Obviously not wanted by Burnley. Now they've got John Walters. So for me, it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be close around the bottom few. Up until about my 15th prediction, I think it could be close. But for me, Watford also going down. Now we're going to do some bumper selections. We're going from 17th to 11th. In 17th we have Stoke, 16th Burnley, 15th Palace, 14th Newcastle, 13th Leicester, 12th West Brom and 11th West Ham. Starting off with Stoke. They've made poor signings. They've let players go where they could be important, i.e. Walters and Arnautovic are two big losses for them. I see Stoke struggling this season. Could even go down. I feel like Zuma might just save them. I think he's a good defender. But Stoke are looking worrying this season. They've been sort of slipping further and further down the Mark Hughes is sort of becoming a bit of a prehistoric manager. And I feel like he's becoming a bit outdated in his ways. And I feel like that could cost Stoke this season. But I feel like they've just got enough to survive. And in 16th you've got Burnley. They finished 16th last season. You can tell, by the way, on the left-hand side we've got their positions last season. Hence why Brighton and Huddersfield have NA. And on the right-hand side we have the positions I believe they're going to finish this season. 16th Burnley though. Finished 16th last season. I feel they have enough to survive. But they could struggle. Their away form. Home form will get them across the line again. Away form they could struggle. They need another centre-back still. But I feel like Burnley have enough to survive. Sean Dyche knows what he's doing, and they should just about claw it this time. Moving on to 15th, we have the men managed by Frank de Boer, and that is Crystal Palace. Now they're an interesting one. They've got some really good players. Zaha's looking tremendously good in form. Milo Javis is a really good signing. Benteke is a world beater, but they're still, I don't think, they're still not going to be good enough to progress up the table. And believe me, if this is what I wanted, there'd be 20 of every single season in my predictions. I can't stand Palace, but I feel they've just got enough to survive. I put them on top of the teams I feel like will be battling for relegation this season, because I do feel like those key players there are players that you look further down, the other teams don't have. You look at the Benteke type striker, none of the 5 below him have him. Same with Zaha. There's no one on that skill level, so they are the players that save Crystal Palace this season, but not anywhere good enough to get anywhere higher. In 14th we have Newcastle. Now again, the last of the three to come up, they've just got enough. They could be higher, they could well be higher. The signings they've made at the moment have not been good enough. They've made a few signings, they haven't nearly made as many as they needed to. And Newcastle for me a bit of a worry, so that's why I got in 14th. Enough to survive, they should easily survive, but nowhere higher than 14th or 13th I'd say. And in 13th we've got Leicester, Premier League champions, almost relegated, around mid-table. I feel like it's fair enough. They could probably lose Riyad Mahrez. It looks as if he's on his way out. He's a massive blow. Yes, they have signed Iheanacho. Vardy's staying as well, it looks like. Could have some good signings there, but for me, they lack in key areas. Maguire's another good signing, but in key areas they lack. For me, that's why Leicester City are 13th. Coming in at 12th, we have one of the West teams in the Premier League. It's West Brom. Now, they're just a meh team. I'm not really sure. People see him go higher, people see him go lower. For me, bang average. They finished 10th last season, they finished 12th this season. They've made a few good signings. Rodriguez is a good one. For me, I think it will definitely influence things in the attack. But apart from that, Hagazi's a good coloured centre back. That's about it. I don't think they've actually signed anyone else. They let Fletcher go. They've lost key defenders. They've only got 5 defenders, in general on FPL. So just about says how much first team quality defenders they have and players they have. They're very light on the numbers, and I feel like that could cost them in certain games. But for me, West Brom have got enough to stay up, and I should easily do it. Finishing in 12th and 11th. We've got last season's 11th finishers, and I realise a lot of teams have got in their positions from last season, but West Ham in 11th. They're pretty meh for me. They've made a few good signings. So Joe Hart is good, Zabaleta is good for experience to organise the back line in from right back. You look at attack, you've got Chicharito and Arnautovic. They are, game winners on their day. Arnautovic, albeit, could also be, one of those players that doesn't touch the ball in 90 minutes, could also score 5 goals in 90 minutes. So he really is a player that could be important. And that's why I put him in 11th. They could still be hurt on the defence. They need a younger centre back for me. They've got quite ageing back line. So for me, they're not going to go any higher than the bottom half of the table, but they are the tippy top of the bottom half of the table, leaders of that, and that's where I see the bottom half of the table. Let's have a look at the top half of the table, going from 10th. And in 10th we have Swansea. Swansea are an interesting team. Not many people giving them much hope. A lot of people saying they'll finish lower down, but without Sigurdsson, I think we're forgetting something, is that Swansea used to be quite a good team, and they improved a lot in the second half of the season. Many people, including myself, thought they're goners, even with Paul Clement coming in, and he's changed them around. This season, he's had a pre-season to work on them. He's had time to bring in transfers. Look at Tammy Abraham, could be really, really good going forward. They've got other people as well. You look at breakout stars from last season. Tom Carroll had a really good season. You look at the defence, and you've got a few really good defenders there, including Alfie Mawson. Fabianski looks in form. They look good for me. They look good. And I think Swansea will surprise a lot of people in finishing 10th. Could even finish higher, in my eyes. It depends on if they get the money from Sigurdsson and where they spend it. But Swansea, for me, will be a surprise package in 10th. On to 9th, we have last season's 9th placers in Bournemouth. Now, yes, a lot of them are the same. It could also be that none of them are the same from last season. But Bournemouth finishing 9th for me. Reason being is that they've improved well. I feel like they had a poor team last season, but they made good of it. This season they've improved in all the areas they need to. You're looking at a team like Bournemouth, they need a world-class finisher. 15 goals, 30 goals in the last 2 seasons, 15 goals in each of them. Jermaine Defoe comes in, you're thinking, Burroch, Federici, whoever they've got in goal is a bit leaky. Let's improve that. Begovic comes in. You think of him, Stoke back in the day, the Tony Pulis days, Begovic was there. Really, really good sturdy keeper. Improve the defence, and maybe another defender. In comes Ake. They've made good signings in good areas in which they needed. That for me means they get 9th. Could they push on? Maybe. I do think they're limited to a certain degree, but they will do really well. I think 9th is an accurate representation of what they can achieve this season. Up in 8th now we have Southampton, and Southampton are a team that look really good in the pre-season. 3 clean sheets in 5. They've made decent progression in the pre-season, and I think they've got a few people that could be looking to really lay their stamp on this season. Redmond had a poor season. He's thinking, I've got to have a good season this season. Same with Tadic. He's a chance now to finally, after years, nailed down a first-team place with James Ward-Prowse at the defence, Stevens and Yoshida given a chance in the first team. It looks really good for me, for Southampton. They'll finish 8th, I think, quite comfortably. And could they finish lower? They could do. Could they finish higher? I doubt it. That is the max they'll get, because I haven't really spent much at all this season for me. But fantastic players, chance to improve. I feel like Southampton in 8th is a really good bet. Moving on to 7th, who else? 7th place specialist in Everton. They've spent a lot of money, and I am for one of believing that the amount of money they've spent on players, they need to be challenging for top 4. But can they? Time will tell. But if anyone's going to be lose out in top 4, I feel like Everton might be that. I think they'll give a good challenge. It'll be a lot closer than last year because there were quite a few points off. The difference will be cut a lot, which is good to have a 7th team permanently in there, hopefully. But for me, Everton will finish 7th. They're the best of the rest, but the worst at the top. And I feel that's the best description I can give them. Coming into 6th now, the big boy teams. And first of all, I'd like to say, there are 2 teams in 6th and 5th that miss out after previously getting Champions League football in the last season. 6th, though, is Liverpool. They are going to struggle for me. They are really going to struggle. First of all, the defensive worries have not been changed. If anything, they're starting the season weaker with Klein injured and the potential of attacking fullbacks Robertson and Moreno filling in left back. So that's really worrying for me. They needed another centre back. To be honest, Ryan Shawcross would have been perfect for them. No nonsense defender, get it out, can organise the back line. Brilliant. Just for a few years, it would organise them. Get another few players in and you're sorted. But they don't have that. They have worrying centre backs, and for me, Liverpool are gonna have a little bit of a uncertain time with their back line this season. The attack looks good, but can they sustain it? They're going to have the Champions League qualification early on in the season. They've got Champions League to consider with as well if they get through. That is, I feel like they could be cut short this season. And 6th, I feel like it's harsh on them, but I feel like it could happen. Next in 5th, and it is about time those angry comments come in. I've been looking for you. You know, the last positions, they haven't done it for you. But in 5th place, I've got Man City. Now, after last year, I'm going to be branded all sorts of names to do with Man City. Man City hater, Pep Guardiola hater, whatever you want to say. But I have good reason. Now, albeit I predicted them to finish outside the top 4 last season, they didn't. But if they'd lost one of the games they won, they'd have finished outside the top 4. There was nothing in it. Absolutely nothing in it. And they had worries at the back. Going forward, they're fantastic, but looking at the back, they were worrisome. They've signed a goalkeeper and they've signed full-backs, but they're not getting the point of centre-backs. And yes, Company could have a full season. Could. Even then, I don't trust Otamendi and I don't trust Stones. They need another centre-back. If they sign another good centre-back, they'll finish top 4 easily. But for now, they are still worrying. And if Company gets injured, you got Otamendi and Stones. There we have it. There we have it. Going forward, they're phenomenal. They could outscore teams easily. If they concede 5, they could easily outscore them. But on the days where maybe Burnley come up and just set up to defend, they could lose points. Even with the attack they've got, they could still lose points. So for me, I worry about City, and that's for me why they're in 5th. Sneaking just into 4th in a rather close top 7 is Arsenal. And yes, Arsenal do look poor, but they've made a few good signings. I think you're looking at Kolasinac, is a great signing. Lacazette looks really sharp in the Community Shield, albeit both Chelsea and Arsenal didn't look the best, but it's a friendly game. They need to get that out of their system. But it looks good. Arsenal looked good when their back 3, was Kolasinac, Monreal, and Holding. They have 3 recognised centre-backs, 4 recognised centre-backs. At the end of the day, for most of the game, none of them were playing, and they still looked good. Just imagine when they've got a full fit team. You maybe have Mertesacker in the centre, Mustafi one side, Koscielny the other. Then Mertesacker's dropped and you've got Monreal in there, clever defender. You've got all sorts of things. Holding coming to get the passing play forward. They've got so many options and look so good at the back. I think they'll have a good season. Going forward, I think you look at Xhaka, he was fantastic in Wembley, really, really good. You look at Ramsey, been really good in pre-season, improved a lot last season on the wide positions. You've got Bellerin and Chamberlain, you've got Kolasinac to play there, maybe Monreal to play there, looking really good in the wide. Going forward, if they can keep Sanchez and Ozil for just this season at least, and let them go on frees, could be really good to get him into the top 4, maybe even keep them then. You know, on a new contract. Lacazette going forward is fantastic. Even then, pick up the home from Olivier Giroud, still got a target man to chuck on, providing he's not sold. Arsenal, for me, are being underwritten massively, and that's why I think they'll get top 4. In third, we have Spurs, and Spurs are an interesting one. I feel like, yes, FPL-wise, I'm staying away from Kane, and I'm thinking Wembley factor maybe, but I feel like Spurs will still get top 4. They've got a solid team, solid unit. Provided they don't sell anyone, they need to bring maybe a few players in. They can improve that. They can get there. For me, Spurs will easily get third. Even with the current team, more signings means more chance of winning the league. But at Wembley, I do doubt it. However, we are judging Spurs at Wembley against really tough European opposition or even Premier League opposition in the semi-final of the FA Cup. Now, that is very, very sort of thinking, oh, not every team's going to play like Chelsea, Premier League champions. You know, Burnley aren't going to play like Chelsea, Premier League champions. Neither are any of the teams coming up. So there aren't going to be easier games for them, which they will win. And they will do all right at home, I feel. But against the bigger teams, they might be a bit might be a bit worrisome. And for me, that's why Spurs get third. Nowhere higher, nowhere lower. I think third is pretty nailed on. And so the nervy part is here. Who am I going to put? Shouldn't have clapped, really. Who am I going to put to win the league? Could be United or could be Chelsea. For me, to win the league is Chelsea again. Now, yes, they've lost Community Shield. They were poor in pre-season, they were poor in Community Shield. But we are forgetting that Conte, wherever he goes, he wins. Who would have said Chelsea last season would win the league? Apart from me, next to no one. I knew it. Conte is a winner. He's proved that in his career. He's a winner. Chelsea made good signings. Now, Chelsea have won Kante. Were devastating. They've basically got a second one in Bakayoko. Yes, they've lost Matic. There's a chance to push Fabregas further forward. They could replace him easily. They've really given Man United a really good signing there. But I don't think they've lost too much with Bakayoko coming in. And yes, they are, you know, looking at not too many signings. You've got Bakayoko coming in. You've got Rudiger coming in. You know, chance of Alexandro coming in. You know, obviously Morata comes in, but he's not Premier League ready yet. They look good, even without Costa, even without Hazard for the first few game weeks. They look good. I think Chelsea, again, could really surprise people and getting first. As was second, Man United, I did put them 6th last time. They've got to be finishing high. You look at the signs they made last season, I've sort of thought negative football. Now it's they've replaced the tall target man with a tall target man with pace. They've got a defensive midfielder, finally, someone that can play in that role other than Carrick. They've got another centre-back who doesn't look all that at the moment, to be honest. For me, Man United are going to look really good this season. Could even win the league. For me, I'm going to finish second because I feel like Chelsea will pip them for the fact that they are, you know, Conte knows how to win things. They can adapt his formation and he'll stay one step ahead of them. Plus, they've got a fantastic back line. Courtois is still learning and getting better, which is even better news for Chelsea. Going forward, Morata, who can only adapt and get better from now. Batshuayi, who's looked good. Hazard, Pedro looks good. Willian looks good. For me, it's looking really good for Chelsea. And that's why I've put them to win the league. Just pipping close rivals for the entire season, Manchester United. So there we have it. My Premier League predictions are here. What do you think of my Premier League predictions? I left it really late this time because I genuinely had a lot of confusion in where I would put people. There were, you know, teams like Bournemouth, Swansea, West Ham, all the sort of lower sides really confused me. The top 6 I knew I wanted to do from a few months ago, and one team had changed with another team, but that was about that. For me though, I'm looking at it and I'm seeing my predictions, and I'm quite confident in this season. But let me know, what do you think of my predictions? What do you think? What are your predictions? Leave me your predictions for top 6 and who will get relegated in the comment section down below, because the other teams, let's face it, we don't really care about them. Everton finished 7th, Southampton 8th, somewhere in between them. The rest of the teams, who cares what orders? They're playing for nothing. But that happens to be that for this video. Hope you have enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Adios.